Have you ever observed how certain individuals wield an almost mystical influence over their surroundings without uttering a single word? They don't demand, they don't plead, they simply step back, and in that moment, everything shifts. The atmosphere transforms. People begin to doubt, to pursue, to feel something stir within. Now picture yourself doing the same, choosing not to react instantly to every trigger, opting for silence over the knee-jerk reply, or retreat instead of outburst. What do you think would unfold? That's where the truth lies. When you stop being perpetually available, emotionally, physically, mentally, the world around you spirals into unease. People are accustomed to steering you through your responses, your instincts, your predictability. But the moment you choose to withdraw, the rules shift, and those who believed they understood you discover they know nothing at all. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves." Reflect on this. When you make yourself unreachable, who grows restless? Who becomes agitated? Who tries to provoke you just to spark some reaction? This reveals more about them than it does about you. It exposes how much you're still being manipulated without even realizing it. You keep giving yourself away to please, to keep the peace, to hold on to people who, deep down, were never truly with you. With every forced agreement, every instant reply, every emotional outburst, you surrender a piece of your vitality. At the end of the day, what remains? Exhaustion, frustration, an unexplainable void. Why? Because you're too accessible to those who don't even deserve a moment of your silence. This isn't about shutting out the world. It's about choosing yourself. It's about embracing what Jung called individuation, the journey toward becoming whole, authentic, and complete. This journey starts when you realize silence can outweigh 1,000 arguments, and withdrawal, when rooted in awareness rather than avoidance, is a profound act of strength. So, I ask you now, looking into your soul, how long will you let others' emotions dictate your actions? How long will you dance like a marionette each time someone prods your wounds? Perhaps it's time to sever those strings, to step back, to become an enigma. Because when you stop being available, everything transforms. You've been taught to always be present, to respond instantly, to please, to say yes even when your heart screams no. From childhood, you've been conditioned to believe your value lies in how accessible you are to others. But here's a truth few have shared with such clarity. This constant availability isn't a virtue, it's a cage. As long as you think you must be reachable at all times, emotionally or otherwise, you'll be manipulated, drained, and discarded the moment you're no longer useful. Why? Because being always available makes you predictable, and what's predictable becomes a tool. People start using you as an emotional crutch, pressing your buttons when they crave attention, relief, or validation, then shelving you when they're done. You don't see it because you're trapped in the illusion that being there for everyone will make someone be there for you. But it doesn't work that way. Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear to be accepted, loved, recognized. This mask keeps you overly available. You say, "It's fine," when you're suffocating. You reply to messages instantly, even when you're drained. You explain, justify, defend yourself as if you owe the world something. But the truth is, the more you center yourself in others' stories, the more you vanish from your own. Constant availability is a subtle form of self-betrayal, a disguised quest for approval, a fear of rejection, an attempt to control how others see you. But this control has a cost: your peace, your energy, which is finite, not endless. Those who demand your constant presence don't want you. They want what you offer: validation, companionship, distraction, emotional comfort. When you set boundaries, when you refuse to react, they get upset, accuse you, call you strange. It's not because you've changed, it's because you've stopped being useful to them. Here's the harsh reality: the more available you are, the less value you're given. What's too abundant becomes disposable. No one respects what they don't have to earn. No one treasures what's always there. So pause and ask, who truly deserves your time, your attention, your presence, your ear, or, more importantly, your absence? Before answering, we must understand why we react so readily, why we give in so easily, what drives this almost automatic urge to respond, justify, and please. The answer lies in what Jung called psychic energy, which we'll explore next. Your energy is all you have, and if you don't protect it, someone will wield it against you. If this resonates, hit subscribe and join the channel. Thank you for your support. Jung didn't view the psyche as a machine reacting mindlessly to stimuli. He saw it as an energy system, where every thought, emotion, and action consumes a portion of that energy. Are you choosing where your energy flows, or is the world choosing for you? Every impulsive reaction burns psychic energy. When you defend yourself against baseless criticism, respond to provocations to prove a point, engage in futile arguments, or try to please those who don't value you, you're squandering your inner strength on what doesn't nourish you. Jung was clear: what you resist persists. The more you react, the more you tie yourself to others' games. Those who are emotionally drained aren't weak, they're misdirected. And exhaustion makes you vulnerable. When you're vulnerable, you're easy prey. Manipulative, opportunistic, or emotionally needy people sense this. They see you don't guard your energy, that you react to everything, that you're always trying to fix the world, and they exploit it. Jung taught that a healthy psyche conserves energy within itself. This means saying no without guilt, staying silent without feeling weak, observing before acting. True power lies not in reacting, but in choosing when and how to engage. This requires knowing yourself deeply enough to recognize your impulses. How often have you lost sleep over an unresolved argument? How many hours have you spent replaying what you should have said or trying to fathom why someone mistreated you? That's energy draining without return, keeping alive ghosts that should have faded long ago, feeding dynamics that exist only because you keep responding. Psychic energy is like a force field. When guarded, it creates a commanding presence. You walk into a room and earn respect without speaking. When mismanaged, you become invisible, reactive, fragile, and the world spares no mercy for those who yield too easily. Start noticing your triggers. What makes you react instinctively? What pulls you off balance? These are the leaks where your energy escapes, and that's where you must work. Not to become cold or detached, but to be selective, to be sovereign over yourself. Here's one of Jung's profound insights. When you conserve your energy, you dismantle the projections others cast upon you. That disrupts them deeply, because now we're entering the shadowy realm of silent manipulation. In the next part, we'll uncover how opportunistic people feed off your energy and why your unavailability shatters their games. Prepare to confront those who've drained you without you ever noticing. You think you're in control, that your reactions are deliberate choices. But the truth is darker. Most of your emotional responses are conditioned, and those who understand this manipulate you effortlessly. Opportunistic people don't need to shout, threaten, or force. They just press the buttons you've left unguarded, and you react every time. Jung called this projection, where people cast onto others what they can't face in themselves. But there's another angle few notice. While others project onto you, you become a canvas for their expectations. The more emotionally available you are, the more you become a blank slate for their projections. That friend who only calls during their crises, that partner who expects you to save the day, that person who flatters you only when you're useful. None of this is random. They're not connecting with you. They're engaging with the role you've agreed to play. Why do you agree? Fear of letting others down. Fear of losing love. Fear of abandonment. The most effective manipulation doesn't come through loud demands. It's woven in the quiet threads of guilt. When you feel you owe something, that you must be available, must help, must understand, even when it tears you apart. The manipulator doesn't need to control you. They just need you to keep reacting predictably. But when you stop reacting, the game collapses. When you say no, respond with silence, or withdraw instead of justifying, their projections unravel. The mask they've placed on you falls, leaving them disoriented. They no longer know who you are, and worse, they're forced to face themselves, a task not everyone is ready for. Your unavailability is a threat because it makes others confront their own voids. The silence you offer amplifies the noise they're avoiding. Then come the attacks, the accusations, the emotional theatrics, not because you're wrong, but because you've stopped being their convenient mirror. Jung said, "We do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." When you withdraw, when you stop feeding their cycle, their shadows emerge, unbearable for those who have used you as an escape. Are you ready to face the discomfort of being misunderstood, rejected, or attacked for protecting yourself? Are you ready to endure the silence that follows the break? Because it's in that silence that a new power is born. In the next part, we'll explore why silence is the psyche's most potent weapon and how it reshapes your dynamic with the world. The modern world is loud. Everyone craves to be heard, to reply quickly, to win meaningless debates, to prove their point, even at the cost of their peace. But there's a power few understand and fewer master, the power of silence. Not passive or cowardly silence, but deliberate, razor-sharp, lucid silence. A silence that's not absence, but amplified presence. Jung saw silence not as emptiness, but as fertile soil for inner transformation. When you stop reacting, you start observing, noticing patterns you missed before, emotional loops, manipulative games, cycles of self-sabotage. Silence brings clarity, and clarity is dangerous to those who thrive on controlling you. Have you noticed how some panic when you don't respond, when you don't explain, when you simply vanish? It's not because they miss you. It's because your silence strips away their narrative control. While you speak, you're still in their game. When you're silent, you rewrite the rules, unsettling anyone who feeds on your reactions. True silence isn't muteness, it's mastery over your energy, a refusal to be pulled into others' emotional currents, a conscious choice to avoid battles not worth your strength. Jung taught that individuation, becoming your true self, requires this distance. Only in silence can you hear yourself without the world's clamor. But silence has a cost. It will alienate those who valued you only for the role you played. It will make you incomprehensible to those who saw you through their projections. You'll seem cold, distant, arrogant. But these are reactions from those who never cared for your depth, only your utility. The hard truth is, the more you grow, the more selective you become with your words. You realize every sentence is an energetic investment, and not everyone deserves your truth. Sometimes silence isn't withdrawal, it's sovereignty, the language of those who no longer need to prove anything. Silence is unsettling because it forces others to face their own thoughts, their own noise. That discomfort reveals more about them than any argument could. Your absence speaks for itself, and those threatened by it show how much they relied on your imbalance to maintain their control. The most powerful silence, though, is the one that rebuilds you from within, connecting you to something beyond external validation. In this inner space, free from others' demands, you reclaim your vital energy, your essence. In the next part, we'll discuss why it's not enough to block external noise. You must learn to use your energy consciously, choosing where it flows, where it stays, and where it should never be spent. It's time to be selective with your soul. If you're ready to reclaim your energy and set boundaries, check out my book, Beyond the Shadow. It unpacks Jung's key ideas and offers tools to protect your energy, set limits, and reconnect with your true self. Link in the pinned comment. Understanding this intellectually isn't enough if you keep saying yes when you mean no, answering messages that drain you, engaging in hollow conversations, or clinging to relationships out of habit. Awareness without action is just another form of self-deception. True change begins when you choose to be selective. This demands emotional discipline. Conscious unavailability isn't about being cold, arrogant, or indifferent. It's about refusing to be accessible to everyone, anytime, for any reason. It's about owning your energy, your time, your peace. Start with small steps. Don't reply instantly. Breathe before reacting. Exit a debate before it consumes you. Turn off your phone without guilt. Say, "Not today," "I'm not interested," or "I won't engage." Most crucially, you don't need to justify your absence, explain your silence, or owe anyone anything but yourself. For many, this is unforgivable because refusing to explain strips others of their power to keep you in their emotional script, where you're always the helpful, understanding, accessible one. Jung knew individuation requires isolation, not a bleak, depressive isolation, but a sacred retreat where you rediscover your voice without the world's interference, rebuilding your identity from your own core. A good measure of your growth. Notice who drifts away when you become reserved, who provokes you when you stop reacting, who accuses you of changing when you start protecting yourself. These aren't signs you're wrong. They're proof you're breaking free. Being unavailable feels uncomfortable at first. You'll feel guilty, selfish, or harsh. But this is part of unlearning a lifetime of putting yourself second. Change stirs discomfort, not just in you, but in those who profited from your old self. Conscious unavailability is the bedrock of self-determination. Saying no to the world is saying yes to yourself. Withdrawing from toxic spaces affirms your peace is worth more than false connections. When you stop explaining, you begin to be respected, even if by few. Your absence exposes others' wounds, revealing how much they relied on your chaos to feel and control. This rupture brings pain, loneliness, estrangement, a sense of loss when, in truth, you're gaining freedom. In the final part, we'll explore what follows this distancing, what blooms from silence, and why the loneliness of the strong is the path to true freedom. When you stop being available to everyone, something profound begins. First comes an uneasy silence that feels like it's shouting inside you. You question if you've done right, if you're too harsh, if you're losing those who cared. But slowly, this silence transforms. It cleanses, calms, heals. Then comes solitude, not of absence, but of total presence. Your own. This is the solitude of the strong, of those who no longer betray themselves to keep others near. In this space, where confusion once reigned, clarity arrives. Where anxiety once lived, peace settles. Where neediness once lingered, a new strength emerges, the strength of being whole within yourself. Jung said, individuation requires stepping away from the collective, shedding the mask, walking alone for a time. That's what you're doing when you become unavailable. Not fleeing the world, but returning to yourself. You stop being a reactor and become a creator, no longer shaped by circumstances, but shaping your reality from within. Those unsettled by your absence reveal they never wanted you. They wanted the role you played. Now that you no longer fit, they're lost. That's liberating. You'll lose people, but find yourself. You'll distance yourself from places, but reconnect with your essence. You'll be misunderstood, but finally respected. This is a rebirth, a new chapter where you reject emotional scraps, mind games, and empty affection. You now accept only what aligns with your peace, your truth, your wholeness. If you've made it this far, part of you is ready for this path. You know being loved means nothing if it costs self-betrayal. True self-love begins when you choose yourself, even if it means standing alone for a while. So, tell me in the comments, are you ready to be misunderstood, rejected, or even hated for your inner freedom? Are you willing to pay the price of being you? If this resonates, write in the comments, I choose my peace. Let's see how many are ready for this shift. And don't miss the next video. It's vital, more than you realize. See you there.